Hey, you guys. We are back with another amazing speaker for the Her Fire Tour ATL. So, what I want you guys to do is to stop what you're doing, share, like, tag to all the women you know. They're in Atlanta, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina, Alabama, Macon, all the surrounding cities that they need to get to the Her Fire Tour ATL, and you can register now at www.herfiretour.com. So I'm going to do what I just told you to do. As Eva introducing herself, I'm going to go and share this video because I know some amazing women that's follow me on all aspects of social media need to hear this video. So go ahead, sis.
Yes. Well, my name is Eva Bellamy, and I am a best-selling author of the sequel, The Spirit Has Spoken, also a playwright of the hit stage play musical of All My Sisters and Me and Holy Seduction. I'm also a business coach who helps people who want to start a business or who has a business and don't have a strong financial foundation. I help them to be able to, set that foundation. So if a storm ever come, their business won't be affected. I'm
Awesome.
also a mom and a G-ma, and I love to help people.
Awesome. And you said one of the key things, setting the foundation to your business and really having your business soundproof. So when the stores come, when the pandemic come, when all those different things shift and we have to pivot for our business. So let us know your passion behind helping entrepreneurs, business owners.
Well, my passion, Coach AB, is from experience. I came to Atlanta over 20 years ago with the expectation of starting a hair salon. When that didn't happen, I didn't have a plan B, found myself homeless within 30 days with two small kids, but still had that drive to want to be successful.
Yeah.
And then just moving forward, uh, you know, looking for a job, found a job working in a hair salon, which, I have a 20-year background in doing that. Didn't have a babysitter, lost my job because I took my son with me to work, you know, and just found myself just trying to figure it out, making some bad choices until eventually, God spoke to me and said, "Hey, you're on the wrong path. That's not why I moved you here, and if you don't turn around, you're going to lose your life and not see your kids." So that caused me to do a 360, and that's when just God just began to birth in me of me being a pioneer woman, not just an entrepreneur, but teaching people. And it first started with my book, me learning how to master and listen to the voice of God. And from there, God birthing out, multi-billion-dollar business ideas. But in me having those ideas, Coach AB, I didn't have the coaches back then. I didn't have the mentors. So I
Yeah.
was like that road runner cartoon that was, popular back in the 70s, 80s, you know,
Yeah.
beep, beep. That's all, folks. Well, that was me. you know, God gave me a vision. Boom, I'm out. No type of strategy, no plan, no nothing. And again, I didn't know. So a lot of trial and errors have caused me to have what I call a Lego business. You build it up, but then when something with pressure comes, it knocks it down. And I went through that multiple times. It was like a cycle until eventually I had to just, just sit still for a moment, like in shock, like, God, I don't believe I'm back here again. And that's when God began to speak to me. And he said, I allow you to go through this because not only you're going to help other people build their foundation, but first, let me show you how to build your foundation because you keep building your business on stony ground. And when the storm comes, it's being knocked down, you know. So that's what has given me the passion, because I've been there. And, the Bible says that they are overcomers by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of your testimony. And so a lot of people have a bootleg business. They're hustling and grinding. And, when I found out recently what those words meant, sis, no longer I will use those words. Why? Because words are life. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's why I keep going through this, because
yeah,
I'm hustling. I don't want to hustle in business. I don't want to grind in business. I want to soundproof, grounded business that can flourish, to where any challenges come, it can withstand.
yeah. And we seen that in the pandemic, especially when it was doing the PPP loans and all those different SBA loans. And some people just wasn't structured correctly to receive those funding to help them with payroll, help them with marketing, help them with bills, from the pandemic and losing customers and clients and all those different things. So it's so very important. I always say you have to have the foundation. And if you can't build a house without the proper foundation. And sometimes it takes longer to build the foundation because you are the foundation, what you learn, who you are, who you become, what you train yourself and develop within yourself, and having your financials where they're supposed to be is part of your foundation. And if you go into your business, like I always say, with an employee mindset, then you're going to continue the cycle. You're going to continue to hustle. You're going to continue to grind. You're going to continue to use manipulative tactics to sell your products and services, especially selling them from a scarcity mindset. That all goes with not having a proper structure. Yes, sometimes it is hard. Yes, it is sometimes it is difficult to navigate, but that's why we have business coaches. That's why we have people that God has raised up to help us. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Eva Bellamy is also one of AV Fire Speakers, certified live coaches. She graduated with in 2019 and in 2020. So let's talk a little bit about that. How is that been, and what is the experience with that, and then transitioning into what you're doing now?
Well, one thing I realized is that a mentor is one thing, but coaching is another. I look at a mentor as someone that can give you advice, semi from experience, but I look at a coach from my experience of, playing sports, being a basketball player. And I think about how my coach not only trained me, but prepared me
Yeah,
and begin to strategize plays so that we can win. So, in taking that model, I apply that to me being a business coach. Taking what you've learned. I'm sorry, taking what I've learned and what you've taught us. Not just being an author, because you can have a product all day, but what people don't realize, you are the product, just like you are the brand, and it's what comes out your mouth. And so people need to know that, yeah, I want to go in business. Well, or it's just that a lot of people want to go in business, but they don't know what it takes. And like I, shared prior, from my experience, me taking my coaching certification, taking my experience, and I'm able to speak to people from a place of experience and speak to them from a place of the knowing and the knowledge, and then being able to strategize so that they don't have to go through a 2 decades of getting it and trial and errors, and and just going through the oops and the storms and starting back over, because starting over again is very expensive. It's expensive
yes,
financially. It drains your energy, and it can put you in a state, whether it's depression or whatever, because then you have that door open of these different voices speaking in your mind that you are a failure, You're never going to get there. All this negative stuff that you got to fight against and that is not true, and it's not that a person failed, is that they failed to plan. And one thing that one of my coaches, constantly impart in me is that you have to have a plan, because if you fail to plan, your plan will fail, you know.
So if you know that you are a entrepreneur and you live in the surrounding areas of Atlanta, or if you have a airport in your city or train station in your city or a bus station in your city, go ahead now and register at www.herfiretour.com. Eva promo is in the description above, below, wherever you're watching this video from. Use that code HFATL dash Eva, EVA, to get $30 off the tickets. The promo
Yes.
code does end soon. So
Mhm.
go right now to get your tickets. Get your tickets for your besties, your mother, your sister. Buy somebody else a ticket if you say, I have another event. Give somebody that ticket that need just the business structure alone. We're not talking about what all the other speakers will bring, just what Eva's going to bring. Just only you know where you are. Only you know what you deal with. You want to
Yes. And I want to add to that. And if you're not around a train or a bus, download Uber or Lyft and and plan your ride. No excuses,
right.
no excuses.
Because sometimes we use a lot of excuses of why we don't know the event. I was in a group and one of the trainer, she asked, what is your determining factor that you decide when going to an event? And a lot of people chose speakers, price, distance, and the overall theme and topic. What I've learned is sometimes you don't know what you need until you hear it,
Mhm.
until you experience it. We can all say, I need support, but you probably just need to reframe how you look at things. So in saying that, if you don't know any of us, it does not matter. If you know that you are dealing with these things, the four elements of fire, your femininity, your impact, your riches, and you showing up extraordinary, whether it's in your life, business, or ministry. If you feel like I need this, I have something missing, you don't know quite what it is, that's how you know you need to be in the room. And whether it's for Atlanta, Connecticut, Richmond, Baltimore, whatever the city, we are traveling to 12 cities. So you can't say I'm on the other side of the globe because we are in multiple cities. So go now to www.herfiretour.com. So
I
Eva,
want I want to add on to what you just said. I think the key thing with that, Coach 8B, is that people have to have an appetite to succeed. As Les Brown would say, you got to be hungry. So you
yeah,
have to be hungry to succeed, because when you're hungry, you're going to, you know, like you said, gravitate to, wow, this is information I know I need because I'm so ready to succeed. I'm going
yeah,
to go to this event. I don't know the speakers. I don't know anybody, but this is for me. So you got to have an appetite. You have to want this thing. If you don't want it, you know, that's why a lot of people are starving and starving in business, I should say,
yeah.
struggling, because again, I've been there. I've been there, done that. So yeah,
The
I'm
thing
hungry.
is, when I started my business, I looked on Eventbrite, YouTube, whatever I can find, and business event, women empowerment event, I went. And one of
Yes.
the things I did, I studied the temperature in the room. I'm
Mhm.
gonna say it out part again. I studied the temperature in the room. If there was some type of millionaire coming, whether it's Damie John, whether it was JT Fox, whoever, I went and I studied the temperature of the room. And when I found out, Eva, that there are more people that are willing to sit in 12-hour, 8-hour, 18-hour events to get the information that they need. And what I found, when you keep yourself in those environments where the energy is high,
Mhm.
with wealth, prosperity, advancement, that energy now becomes your thermostat to how you live and how you do business. So when people look at me and they say, AB, you are on fire, that is because I train myself to be in atmospheres and environment that is conducive for whatever I need to come to life, to birth. And that's what I'm saying to those that are listening. If you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like, okay, my fire is down, you need to stay in those atmospheres. We're not talking about just going to church. We're talking about atmospheres where the energy is high for producing, for birthing, for ideas, for strategy, those type of atmospheres. Because what'll happen, things will begin to shake off you. You begin to shift. Your mindset begin to shift. And then you begin to have this hunger like never before. And that's why it's so important to come to events, no, I'm sorry, experiences like her fire. So it's not an event, it's an experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's a presence that is felt when you enter into the atmosphere of the Her Fire Tour. So, Eva, in your words, why should they come to the Her Fire Tour?
I believe that every visionary, every person who just got breath in their life and been at a place in their life where they've been saying to themselves, I want more. I want to go higher, but I don't know how to get there. I encourage them to make a sound decision. And like I just mentioned, or like we both just said, you got to be hungry for it. But make a sound decision to push your way there. Because change is not going to come unless you change and your mindset change. We can't continue on to do the same thing thinking we're going to get different results. You have to step out of your comfort zone where it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. And you may say, well, I don't have $39. Well, guess what? You do have $39. Why? Because everything has inflated. Food has inflated. Everything has inflated. So you have it. It's called sacrifice. People pay for what they want. So you want this, you will sacrifice and get there to receive what you need to receive so that you can elevate and you won't be sitting back in 2024 say, oh, this is my year. No, I get so tired of hearing that every time the clock turns into a new year. Because if your mindset doesn't change, guess what? You're going to remain in the same place that you are.
Yeah.
So it's about pushing your way. So I definitely encourage you. And the message itself is just powerful. Am I allowed to say it?
The year of acceleration?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yes. I was
okay. The year of acceleration.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a profound word right there. Yeah, you can accelerate. But man, I'm not going to leak my message, but I got something for that because, again, it's all in the mindset. You got to change your mindset. So I encourage you, if you have not gotten your ticket, click on the link that's on the Zoom and register today. Yes.
Let me say this, and we hear that a lot. Shift your mindset and what you think. I want to help you to shift how you think. Sometimes it's not what you think, it's how you think what you think. And that determines the outcome in everything you do. This year, I am given 6 master keys to accelerate her growth. And you can apply these keys to your life, business, or ministry, but it is a game changer. And when God really started ministering to me about these master keys, I had to look in the mirror first. I had to begin to incorporate and shift some things so that I can accelerate in my growth. So when I speak it, I'm not speaking from a place of just knowledge, but I'm speaking from a place of the anointing. And that is the difference. So if you're looking to accelerate your growth, a lot of things are just about you growing. You get to decide when to grow, not always the how, because life determines that, but you get to decide when. And oftentimes we grow when tragedy happens. We grow,
Mhm.
we go through things. But if I can make a decision that I want to grow first before I have to go through these tragic things, then I won't even go through those things.
Mhm.
If I want to decide to grow in love or grow in forgiving, why do I have to wait till somebody do something to me, a
Mhm.
situation happen for me to decide to forgive? I want to decide to forgive because I have the power to decide that whenever I want to.
Mhm.
And that's what the aspects of growth is all about. I really began to dive into growth. And a lot of us, we're not growing because we don't have fertile ground.
Mm.
And if your ground is not, I ain't gonna get too deep in it, but if your ground is not fertile, then you cannot blossom into the woman or to the man that you were created to be. So, Eva, let's give a little bit about what you're going to speak about, just about a minute, just so they can develop enough hunger to go ahead and register.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you this. I think about a vehicle, okay, because how I develop my message is based from a vehicle. So when you want to accelerate, you press the gas.
Mhm.
When you want to brake, you press the brake. But before you do either, you have to shift gears. You have to make a decision whether you're going to get out of park. Where are you going to go? Are you going to neutral? Or are you going to reverse? Or are you going in drive? And so I'm just leave that because I know me. I don't.
That's it.
I
That's
don't
it.
know.
That's
I don't
enough.
know how to give a little bit, but it's all about making decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
I believe it right there.
So go ahead right now to www.herfiretour.com. If you're registering for Atlanta, you can use promo code HFATL. All those are all caps. HFATL dash EVA and get your $30 off. Any other city, I'm gonna give you this nugget. Any other city that you're going to register for, you can use my code HF, whether CT-AB or HF, Rich for Richmond, -AB, HF, Baltimore -AB, all those to get $30 off. Those promo codes do end. You cannot pay at the door. You cannot use the promo code the day of. They do register before the event. And I want to leave you this, and I'm going to have Eva to leave some nuggets, but I want to leave you this. I want you to make a decision that before I leave this world, I want to live full and die empty. That I want to become the best version of me that I possibly can. That I don't want to leave this world thinking, oh my God, I never wrote that book. Oh my God, I never believed in myself to start the business. Oh my God, I never made the choice to walk out on faith. When me personally, when I leave, I want to leave knowing that I've trained all the women that I was ordained to train, that I traveled to every city with the Her Fire Tour, that I maximize the gifts and the talents that God has given me, and that when I die, I can die peaceful. They can say she empty because there is nothing else she could have possibly did on this earth, that she did everything. She wrote the 100 books. She traveled to 20 countries. She trained 1 million women, certified 1 million women. She got everything that God put in her to get. That's the when I lay my life down, when I say, God, now is my time. I want to say that I became her and that I walked in her fire, that I was that feminine woman, I was that impactful woman, I was that rich woman, and that I showed up and showed out extraordinary everywhere I went. Eva.
That was beautiful. But to add to everything you just said, Coach AB, in order to fulfill everything you just said, a person have to not only make the decision, but once you have made the decision, you have to focus. The acronym for focus is finishing one course into success, at least starting. Okay. You can have a whole lot of different ideas, but take that one thing. It's just like when a mom is pregnant with multiple babies, all them babies are not going to come out at the same time, one after another. So choose one, get before the Most High, find out God, ask God, say, hey, let me know which vision I'm supposed to focus on first. And you stick to that one thing, one or two, and you focus on it until you succeed. And as you do that, everything else is going to be like a dominoes effect. And then before you know it, and like Coach AB said, when it's time for you to give up the ghost and descend to the Father, God can say, well done, my faithful servant. You completed your course.
So go ahead now to www.herfiretour.com. Get your tickets, get multiple tickets, be in the room, come meet us, come hear some amazing speakers, and experience what real sisterhood feels like. Y'all already know. I will see you, my sis, in the fire. Be blessed.
Bless.